Ladies and gentlemen, the name of the show today is Can't Buy Class. Cannot buy class. And the reason why I'm doing this show is because a lot of people see people dressed a certain way. Now you see the way I look like class, right? But I'm not just looking like class. I'm a classy guy. I'm all the way classy, you understand? And it's more than just how you look. Class is the way you act. Class is the attitude. Class is something that you have to be brought and raised into. You can't buy it. You know, you got people that get to be grown people, you understand me, 60, 70, 50, 40, and they try to, they get a lot of money. But they've been acting a certain way, and they've been a certain way all their life. All of a sudden they get money and they buy a big house, they buy a chauffeur. He's got class, but they don't have class. They have class even though they don't have class, but even though they got more money than most people, they don't have class. It's just like, look at the Beverly Hillbillies. You remember the show, The Beverly Hillbillies? You see all the money they had and all, and instantly, bam, classy people were at their doorstep. But they did not have class. But class was at their doorstep. You can be around class, but you can never have class. If it's not in you, it's not a part of you, or you haven't been raised around it, or you haven't been exposed to it. You dig? You have to be exposed to class, and be around classy people, and take habits and form the habit of being a class act. People say he's a class act, and when you want to be a class act, automatically dressing and all these things that go along with class is automatically going to be a reflection of you by having that class. Me, I'm a distinctive individual. I have my own style, and class is just part of me. You understand? Because I've been classy all through the flick. You don't be trashy, you be classy. You don't be cussing and fussing and this talking the wrong kind of talk. You talk in a mannered and respectful way. You understand? You be a gentleman as well. You know what I mean? The gentleman is part of being a class act. You dig? When you're a class act, you're a gentleman and a scholar. You dig? And it goes along with part of the situation. You understand? But you can't buy this. I know a lot of people, like I said, get money, and they're the same way they were when they didn't have money. They go to school, they learn how to, do the silverware, do the forks, eat this and eat that a certain way, certain tools. But their attitude, you understand, and their reflections, you know what I mean, and their charisma and all that is not saying class. And that's why I said you cannot buy class. I know it's a cliche. You can't buy class, you can't buy love. See, you buy something that reflects and imitates love. You see? But it's not real love. Same way with class. People that act and make you think you're classy because you're buying them to say that and act like that. But really, you're not a class. You know what I mean? You don't act like class. You don't have class. You never have been a part of anything classy. You understand? Most of the time when when you've had money all your life, or you had the good life all your life, you're going to be class. Because you're affiliated, you were raised, you were brought around class. Because money and class go together. When you were brought and raised in class and in money. Because most people with money have class. Because they were raised with the money. And when you're raised with money, you were raised with class. See, that's a difference than someone that just gets some money and they were ghetto and poor and, been around that type of environment most of their life. And they get some money. Or if you get some money illegitimately, are you hustling? You're a hustler and you so dope, or you did what you did, got a lot of money. But you still were around the people that were mediocrity, people, nobody that was classy. You know what I mean? That was a step up. Then you're going to remain that way. You understand? You're going to remain, unpolished. You're not going to have no class. Because I've seen people that don't have no money, never had money, but had class. You understand? Now that's remarkable, ain't it? They didn't have no money, never had no money, but they had class. Now I've seen that. I don't have. I've seen people with money that didn't have no class. That's why I say you can't buy it. It's something you got to have. But I seen these cats, man, wearing tuxedos, sharp and polished and polite and had manners. You know, but they were young and they studied this and they've been around those people, and they ingrained it in their attitude and you know, and that's what they really wanted to be, was a classy person. You know, this cat Baby Mike I knew, you understand me? He had a lot of class. He was a class act. Wakem John, he was the same type of person, but he didn't really have that much class. He wanted to act like he did, but he didn't really have that much class. You know, but Baby Mike did. Joe Black had class. You know, these cats are players in the game that had class. You know, and we all could be from the same part of life and be in the same areas, but just certain people have class, certain people don't. And that's why I say it has nothing to do with the money, because we both and where you were raised or whatever. It's what you look up to and the image you want to follow when you're younger. You know, like you see these people, they look at movie stars on TV when they were young, and they you know, they like Fred Astaire, you know, Ginger Rogers. They like you know, all these class act, man. You know, these people on TV. If you pattern yourself after some of those actors and back in the day when it was class jumping off, then you might have class, and it didn't cost you anything. You understand? Because you pick the habits of classy people. It's like anything else. You learn this. You can learn it, you understand, but you can't buy it. You see what I'm saying? You can learn it, but you can't buy it. You learn class, you understand me? It's not something that is a habit you pick up that are class acts. You understand? And when you pick these class acts up, you know what I'm saying? You become classy. You understand? When you don't cuss, you don't fuss, you be cool, calm, and collective, and you act out in a classy way. You know, certain things you do, man, it's hard to explain to a person that don't have class, because they don't distinguish, and they don't know class from not trash, from trash. You understand? Class from trash. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you got some prostitutes that had class, like the car girls. They were more identified as having class, and the street hookers were more ghetto and unclassy. But the things have changed. Time has changed, because, you know what I'm saying, you got class people in both sides of the field, because of the internet and all this. They taking things to another level automatically. You know, now call girl is like, that's what it is. Most prostitutes are call girls because they get a call on the internet or whatever. It's, you know, so they're call girls too. It's just back then, when it was just phones, it was a different thing. So people learn things different ways. But now, you understand me? That doesn't determine the class that you have, you know. You understand what I'm saying? It's affiliation and the people that you were around, that you raised around, that you've been around, you know, and things you're affiliated with. You know what I'm saying? You learn class, like I said. You know, it's like you want to be a certain way and act a certain way. You learn class. You know, you learn it. That's how you get it. You learn it. You see, you can't just buy it. That's why I say you can't buy class. But you can learn it. You know, you can be around people that are classy and you can follow their footsteps. You can learn it through them. But it's not something that happens overnight. You know, you see somebody and you say, oh, I want to be like them. You're young, you grow into them. But if you're old and you set in your ways and you try to be something and it's new to you, you ain't going to get it. You understand? It's something that you got to have, that's got to be in you for you know, time in and time out. You know what I'm saying? Like my partner Silky, he's classy. He was a class act. Then I got another partner, Pretty Boy. He wasn't no class. He didn't have no class. You see what I'm saying? You got to know who's who and what's what, and know the difference in the two. You dig? And then you know what I mean? And then you take and say, well, I'm like this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know I got class, Because I identified with my partner Silky. We was like Ace Cool Boom. We was class act. We did things that the Ward Brothers. They were classy people. They were classy, and they were players, but they were classy. They were class, man. They were, what I'm saying? And it's hard just for people to understand and think, oh, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer. No, you got to be those things to have class. No, you got doctors and lawyers that don't have class, and you got players that don't have class. But then you got few certain people. It's the people and the characteristics in the people to make them classy. You understand? And the thing about having the class is that when you have class, you are a person, you understand, that does something automatically. It's a class act because it's a habit with you. It's automatic, you see. That's when you're having class. When you acting like you having class, you really don't have class. You see, and that's another thing. People act like they have class when they don't have class. And that's the differentiation that a classy person knows. That this person is trying to act like they got class, but they really don't have class. That's something that people don't realize either as well. A person that doesn't have class doesn't realize that. He looks at that person that's acting like they got class, and they don't. Because the person that actually has class recognizes that. You see? That's another thing that a lot of people don't misunderstand when it comes to people with class. And something that you can't buy. People act like they have class, but really don't. Because they're not being the classy person that class represents. It's like, for instance, like I said, Baby Mike had class, the way he carried himself, the way he conducted himself, even the way he spoke. He wasn't like Breaking Job, which would be cussing and fussing and complaining and doing a lot of negative things that a classy person don't do. And the way they, carry themselves. It's just the way you see the person, you see the way they act. Like Joe Black, he was class. And then you had Easy Money and them other cats, they didn't really have class. Easy and them other cats, they didn't have that much class. Mobile, he didn't have that much class. What's that boy's name? Hippie Kurt. Was it Dave Kurt? Was it Hippie Kurt? I think it was Hippie Kurt. I can't remember. I know they called him Hippie. Yeah, Hippie Kurt, man. It's been so long since I used that name. Hippie Kurt had the car with the curtains and dog and had all that brand new Fleetwood Broom. Hippie Girls, Frantic Jimmy, they didn't have class. Not really. But they weren't trying to promote class. They weren't trying to be a class. They were trying to be who they were and who they were and what they were. Or what they were trying to be, and that was trying to project the image of, being a rebellious type of person when it comes to class and society. They were on the semi-kick, Frantic Jimmy was. Hippie Kurt, he was, catching the bras, that was hippie, so, I wouldn't call that a class act. But Sweet Roy, that man had class. Sweet Roy had class. Not only by the way he dressed, the way he conducted himself, and he independent and being, a class act, man. A class act. That man was classy. Sweet Jesus, classy. I'm not going to say that about people I know that don't have class that I know that I'm cool with, because I could tell you something, but I wouldn't want to do that because they might be listening, they might hear it. So I don't want to say that. You understand me? You dig? But what I'm saying is, everyone don't have class. And they might think they have class or they want to have class, but they don't. And it's just the way it is. But I'm not going to name names of the people I know that I run with and that I listen to and that I know that do or don't. I'm not going to say it. I'm just saying the ones in the past that are not here. So I'm not putting a stigma on anyone. That's around now. That has class and don't have class. I know I feel with people that do have class. I try to make sure to do that because as you get better each and every day, each and every way, you sharpen your game, you sharpen your mind, you get sharp, and you try to patronize yourself after people that were classy, that had things going on. Like people say, okay, Martin Luther King, he cheated on Coretta Scott King. Now, who's to say that he cheated on her or whatever? Why people want to tarnish a person with a blemish-free reputation? People want to say that and want to put that out there, and it's not spoke upon. Nobody spoke upon that. Nobody said that he did that or whatever, And back in those days, if the man did, he did it with class because he was a class act, and he did not put it out there where it was put out in the paper or anybody would tarnish his reputation or tarnish his the person that he was, And Malcolm X, he was a player and a hustler, and then he changed his life around, got a second chance at a first class life, and got class because he already had class. He knew what class was, and he knew what it was about. You understand? So all he had to do was sharpen his skills as far as being a righteous person. The class is already in there with him. When he was a player, he was a classy player, you understand? He did what he did, and he looked like he looked and did the thing. And he was on the hit list, you understand, as a winner. And then he went to prison and got himself together and came out and advanced to another level, which is what you're supposed to do. But you learn all those things to be, like I say, you can learn it. You could be out, and this is something you can do too. You could be on the street and not be a person that's just non-classist could be. You go to prison for 4 or 5 years, and you come out and you got plenty class. That can happen. You know why? Because you've learned class. You studied class. See, you got it honestly. You know what I mean? You didn't go out and try to buy it with a starter kit, 250-page book or something. You know what I mean? You built it into your attitude. You built it into your attitude, into your way of thinking and the way of acting. You got to do it. You got to do the whole 9 yards. You got to build it into you. To really, really, really gravitate toward class. You have to get it the righteous way. You know what I mean? Which is not easy. To get class that way is not easy. It is a thing you have to do that takes time. Like me, for instance. I pattern myself after classy dudes, players, and that were classy, that I looked up to. We called it smooth, being smooth. Being smooth. You know what I mean? You had dudes like Hatman and Chili. They didn't have class. They had a rough edge on them. They had a rough edge on them. Now Woody, they called him Woody Fox. He was a class act. As far as I'm concerned, he was a class. He had class. As far as I know, and I know him better than most of them cats. Now, when he got later on, when I seen him, and he got on that dope real bad, he lost his class. You can lose your class as well. You can lose your class. You can lose your class, for sure. You get on dope. You get saturated with alcoholism. And you get caught up in being around people that are doing all those negative things. You can lose your class. You can lose it. You understand me? And you could have had it all your life. And you can lose it just like that. You know what I mean? That's something you can do. You can lose your class. But you can't buy it. You understand? But you can lose it out of different things that happen. Being around the wrong people. You know what I mean? Being around a bunch of people that are losers, that are non-class people, and their ways rub off on you. And you lose your class because you're around trash. You lost your class because you were around trash. If you become trashy, you can never be classy. You see? And that's something that, I notice people that I know, you know what I mean, the different ones and the ones that I respected in that class. And this ain't got nothing to do with money. I'm talking about face value, face, the face. You see people on the street, and you run into them. You don't know where they live at. You never been in their house. You see them on the street, but they have class. When you talk with them, and the way they act, the way they look, the way they, talk, and they always appear to be classy and positive and influential. A role model. You see those kind of people. Then you see, and you look at them and you see yourself, like Chris Cross, you understand me? That other boy, you understand me? His partner, he had class. What's his name, man? Johnny Stone, they called him later on. But anyway, the boy I know from years when he had the Mustang, he flashed one of them. He was a classy dude. He was class, man. I liked it, that cat in a classy way. When I seen him in Seattle, he didn't no game, but he was class, and he was doing his thing out there. But he was classy with it, man. The cat was classy, smooth and classy. He all come from Palo Alto somewhere, Man, the man was smooth, classy. Cliff, he wasn't classy. Cliff didn't have no class. Somebody asked you, did he have class? No, he didn't. See, there's certain dudes had certain things, and the thing about it is that their reputation precedes them as far as things they did at the time they didn't. Butch had class. See, Butch was a class act. But some people he ran with didn't have class. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, I ran with, but he didn't have that. So see, it's like you could do things for certain reasons. You know what I'm talking about? And you can have that quality. It's a quality that you have when you have class. It's a quality that you have to make you distinguished gentleman. And I don't mean of leisure, of distinction or anything like that. It's just you carry yourself with class, and things you do and things you say and how you act. And how you talk, and you know what I mean? Like I said, talk and act. The way you talk and act determine if you have class or not. When you talk and when you act a certain way, people can tell immediately that you don't have class. You know what I mean? And a lot of women think they do, and they don't. They put on certain clothes, they think they got class, but when they open their mouth, all you know is they trash. You understand? They put the clothes on, but when they open their mouth, they look like class, but when they open their mouth, you know they trash. Simple. But people with class know the difference. You understand me? And they know the difference, and they know what you're doing is put it on the act. You're trying to act like you got class. You know what I mean? And a lot of people do that. They act like they got class and don't have it. They try to project the image of being a classy person, but they're not. You understand what I'm saying? And money can't buy it. Because people people get money, they think they can buy class. They start giving you money to make them feel classy. And you'll make them feel that way, but they're not class, but you'll make them think that because you want the money they got. You understand? You see it all the time. Some poor person wins the lottery. They was trashy and non-classy, and they win the lottery, and all of a sudden they want to be classy because they got money. They think money makes you class. Slowly but surely they find out that ain't the case. They start spending money like an ignorant person. They start doing things like ignorant person. They start affiliating with people with no class, women and no class. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing they do, and that deteriorates them more so because that person that they buying to be their companion that doesn't have class does not takes them further from class rather than further to it, closer to it. Further from it rather than closer to it simply because the people they're associated with, they feel comfortable with. See, they don't be around people with class even though they have the money because they can't identify with those people. Those people will not associate with them. And they have the money. They join the clubs. You understand? People just be nice to them because they have money, but they don't respect them. See, respect, class and respect. When you are classy and you're a real class act, you get respect. See, with class comes respect. You understand? Class and respect kind of go hand in hand. If you're classy and you handle things in a classy manner, you're going to get respect. People will respect you, and it's not nothing to do with the money. It's the class that you have. You know, you take this person has money, this other person has class. You understand? The person that gets the respect is the person with the class more so than the person with the money, because I'm going to tell you something. They will act like they respect you and like you in your face because you have the money. But when you turn your back, they'll talk about you. The guy that has class and honest and truthful and respected, he's going to get respect in the front of him and behind him. The only one's going to hate the guy with class is the people that are jealous and hateful. You understand? But the guy that's got the money but don't have no class, he's got people hating him for all kind of reasons. You understand? More reasons than just pure hate for no reason. It's a hate because you think you this and you think you that and you're not nothing. That's how they gonna look at the guy with money acting up. The guy with class, he's just being smooth. So he's just being respected. He's not trying to show that he got money. He may not even mention that he got money. Everything is on the under. Silence is golden. He's keeping it on the QT, you understand me? He's letting everybody know, you understand what I'm saying, that he's assertive and confident. So he's not letting, superficial things take a front seat to him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't care what you think of him. He wants you to like him for who he really is. You understand? It's just like when you say Coming to America. When Eddie Murphy wanted the girl to like him for who he was, he went and worked at McDonald's and mopped floors and did all that because he wanted to get a good woman with a good soul and a good heart and class. He didn't want nobody that's like her sister that was out there gold digging and didn't have no class. She didn't have any class, but her sister had class. Now these two from the same family, raised from the same mother and father, one has class, one don't. That's like I got a sister. One has class, one don't. You understand? That's why I said class is something that is hard to understand, that those that have it and those that don't have it and those that have money. Because the one sister I'm talking about got all the money and everything. No class. The other one don't have as much money, but plenty of class. So who can answer that? See, it's something that you got to look into and say to yourself, wow, that is something else. And through my experiences has let me know that you can't buy class. See? That's why I say that. You understand? Because you could look at statistics, look at the people you be around, the people that gravitate towards, they look at the people with class as being boring, that and all that. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to be around those people. You want to be around those loud, obnoxious, ghetto-founded people because they get attention and they funny. Huh? If your mind's on that, then you ain't got no class. You understand? And you don't want class, you understand me? You got to have that when the choice is made. That's the choice you make, you understand me? And the thing about it is, when you make choices like that, it shows who you are and what you are, especially when you get to be a certain age. You get to be a certain age, your level of having class or even desire to want it is not there. You understand? Because you build these things, these characteristics and these qualities are built and achieved and acquired while you're young. You understand? Because when you get to be a certain age, you are who you are. You're the product of your environment. You're a product of your environments, different ones throughout your life as you were coming up. Patterns, people you gravitated toward, who you looked up to, who was your idols, who was your stars. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut this show short because this is the end of my show, and the name of this show was Can't Buy Class. You cannot buy class, and believe me, I know, because it took me years to get the class I got, and looking up to the people that had class made me want class.